You know how the girl them do. We are the Dance Body Man crew.
Hi, everyone. This week, I'm going to answer a question that I've been asked many, many times. And I'm so happy that I can finally do a video because it touches me from within. And I think a lot of you will resonate with it. So, someone asked me lately, how can someone that is dedicating their life to empower the women in their body, in their mind, to free them, to really give them back that power, how can someone use a tool as belly dancing to help them empower? I mean, belly dancing is the art of seduction. How do you give back power to the women while using a tool that actually give them power away? What a question. I'm going to answer it straight away.
You know how the girl them.
So here we are. I'm going to keep it real. I'm going to keep it as short as I can, although I could talk for hours about it because it's something that is been touching me. It's been my drive, and that's why I'm doing what I'm doing. But of course, probably it's a question that is in the back mind of a lot of us and a lot of us women. Let me tell you the truth, keeping it real, keeping it as raw as I can. When I started belly dancing, which was probably now 20 years ago, I was an entertainer. I was a singer, I was a dancer, I was an actor, I was anything. Give me a stage, I'll do it. And belly dancing came very later on in life. It wasn't something that in my country, I'm originally Italian. It's not a dance that you do in your regular gym. It was at that time, it was still a little bit on a niche. Then I came to London and I became a belly dancer in London. I was a salsa dancer. I had a band. I was a singer. I was just give me a stage. When belly dancing came along, my life changed. It was an accident. I will tell you more in another video. My life changed inside of me. There was this dance that was just changing me from within. I remember the first lesson with my teacher at the time. I used to play with a male teacher, Lebanese, fantastic male dancers. And the first thing he told me was, okay, so to become a belly dancer, you need to learn to work all your senses. You need to work to really open up and liberate yourself and be mindful. So the first exercise I'm going to ask you to do is to walk on the street of London, maybe Oxford Street, maybe any street that's full of people. And instead of focusing on the people around you, just feel the breeze of hair touching your hair and feel the sun kissing your face. We've done. Goodbye. At the time, I was paying £30 per hour. And I'm like, that's expensive. I could have done it without you, without paying you, right? How is that belly dancing? I just didn't get it. But I did it. Little did I know that changed my life. I started feeling my body in a completely different way. The way I walk, the way I move my hair, the way it wasn't just by that lesson. We did a lot of sensory lessons. Again, I could see straight away that the difference between, for example, salsa and any other dance, jets, and it was something, it was starting, the movement was starting from within and mainly my pelvic belly area. There was this movement that I felt like something was moving inside of me, and it would come out and it would just brighten me up. I remember the way I walk and the way I move my hand, the way I move my hands, and the way I was just changing. Little did I know that I was unlocking my chakras. I was just working on a spiritual mind body level. At the same time, I was so embarrassed to tell people that I was a belly dancer, like embarrassed. It was like the big secret. Walking and meeting people, they all knew I was a singer, I was a dancer. Didn't tell I was a belly dancer, but there was this secret inside of me saying my body is learning to move in ways and is learning to shine in ways that I never thought possible. And it's all to do with this incredible movement that I'm discovering. You cannot know it because then you're going to judge me and you're going to think that I am a prostitute. And I'm going to tell you there in that. This is how I used to think. You got to tell that I'm too sensual, that I'm using my sensuality, that, I'm using my sensuality to get paid, because then I started getting paid for it. And then that was so daunting for me, because I kept this secret of something that was changing me and making me feel so good, but I couldn't tell because society was judging me. Fast forward to many years later, when I became a teacher, I've met so many students and so many teachers, soon to become teachers, used to tell me the same thing. Oh my God, Claudia, I love the classes. I love when I dance, my body, the way it responds. But I'm embarrassed to tell my friends and family because, people consider belly dancing like, like just strange. And thank God nowadays things have changed a lot, and lots of my students are doing belly dancing and pole dancing and stripping and burlesque, and women are just reclaiming their body and their freedom back. But there's still that kind of thing behind it, like, but it's belly dancing, the dance of seduction. And this is something that I've been fighting for all the time, that I had a wake up call in myself saying that we need to change it. We need to change the name, the reputation of this marvelous form of art. I had to be doing something myself. And it was my husband, well, boyfriend at the time, and now my husband, told me, but how can you, something that makes you feel so good. He used to see me practice in my room, and I felt so magnificent, not because he was watching me. I felt magnificent. Not only that my body was opening up, but that I could do movement that were the connection between the practice and the rhythm and the infinite circle made me feel good. And my husband used to love watching me, because not because I was doing it for him. In fact, I was in my room and I closed the door, but because he saw in me that empowerment, that I don't care who's watching. I'm not doing it because you're watching. I'm doing it because it feels good. Going back to the same thing. We dance. Dance is the first form of communications for deep emotion that centuries, 6,000 years ago, our prehistoric, they were dancing not to entertain. They were dancing as if they were communicating emotion that at the time they didn't even have a language to express. So the dancing, nobody invented dancing. Nobody invented dance. Dancing is written in our bone. Humankind invented language, written language. They invented Latin. They invented written language because they communicate. So language, spoken and written language, has been invented. Dancing as a form of communication, nobody invented it. It was the most natural form of expression, of communication, of feeling good when you weren't feeling good. And in between communities, they will gather together to dance. So although the written origins of belly dancing is lost in books and written books, because nobody wrote it down, there is this many books, but there is this magnificent book that, and you need to see, it's called Grandmother's Secret, and I will advise anybody to read it. And it's this wonderful journey of this Iraqi woman that talks about how women will gather together in a grandmother's kitchen, and men will gather in another room, and the way they gather together and the way they will dance together and the way a new baby girl grow up and started a dance, and how everybody was like, she's growing up, she's feeling. And now every woman will represent the dance in a different level, in a different way, because belly dancing is to do with our personality and how we are in our womanhood at that specific time. How is a form of celebration, of communication, of pleasuring ourselves in a way of feeling sensual with our senses all wide open is a dance that started because we felt maybe in a bad mood, or we felt like down or tired, and then you hear the music and you let the body go. It's the most incredible form of self-expression and freedom of expression, because you stop thinking, you start feeling. And I will keep on repeating, and I always repeat in my classes, in my videos, how we are so much in our head, how we all need to dance, how we all need to switch from thinking, am I good enough, am I looking good enough, into feeling. We need to start designing a life that is being guided by how we feel. We really connected with our feelings, with our emotion, what feels good for us. And I think we need to switch from the looking good, and not that we don't look good, it's just that we're so much more than the way we look. So if we go for once in our life as women, used to being judged and used to fit and used to do things that they tell us to do, we go in when we dance into a state of, this feels good for me, right? This feels good for my body. This makes me feel good, without questioning, doing it. Now, what happened with belly dancing? Because he unleashed so much energy, and I will go on another video very deeply into our matriarchal time centuries ago, when really we were dancing to worship our goddesses, and how women were the, our calendar was ruled by the moon, and we were in connection with the moon, and we had to dance, to talk, to listen. So that's another story that now, unfortunately, we're on a solar calendar, which is much more masculinity driven. But how we are in connection with Mother Earth through dance, how we are the embodiment of that. If we are not connected with ourselves, we cannot guide anybody around us. And with belly dancing, because the movement naturally work on stimulating the energy forces in our body, which are the sexual force. We work on specific chakras. As you know, I'm very passionate about chakra belly dance, and belly dance naturally balances out, unleash, release the energy forces that are blocked in our body. So that's why when I hear belly dancing is the dance of seduction, I claim it back by saying, no, it's not the dance of seduction. We do not dance to seduce. In fact, we couldn't care less who's watching us while we dance. We're reclaiming dance because, as women, is our space, is our intimate space of feeling good in our body. We reclaim back being sexy for ourselves. We're being sensual for ourselves, not for the outlooker. Someone at one point, especially in Hollywood, I think at the beginning of the 19th century, something like that, someone watches some woman dancing obviously with their belly out, and decided, oh, this will sell a lot. Now, because someone saw that art form and decided, I'm going to capitalize on it and sell it out, and then of course they've lost your spiritual and sacred background with it. Doesn't mean that every time women dance that magnificent sense, we're doing it to seduce. See, I don't like the word seduction. I don't like the word seduction. Why do we need to seduce anyone? Seduction means giving your power away. Like, you need that person so much that you want to seduce them. No, sex is not seduction. Feeling sexy is an intimate space of owning our body, and only we choose who to share the energy with. We should live in a state of sexiness. We should live in a state of constant pleasure and bringing joy to ourselves. And we choose the person to share that with. We don't seduce, we attract. We fill up that space of so much joy, love, and power. We're doing it for ourselves. So, in fact, belly dancing is the strongest statement for a woman to reclaim a body, femininity, time back, switch off from the rest of the world, and say, this is my time to feel good. And then when we bring it on stage, we're not doing it again for the outlooker. When we bring it on stage, we're bringing it to share that state of with people that we love, saying, this feels so good. You should also try to have that feeling. So never like before, I would say the belly dancing actually is the most selfish dance that we know, that brings us back to ourselves, to our joy, to our pleasure, and makes us feel sexy on a constant level. We need to reclaim it back. Keep belly dancing. If you never tried it, we got free trial down there. If not, just dance. Just put some music on. Dance for you and you only. I'll see you to the next video.